For those of you that don't remember, this is my RX7 that lost a game of chicken with a deer last year. And in this video, I'm gonna fix it the right way. Plan going forward. First steps first, I'm going to strip the whole front end, make it easier to pull everything out of the engine bay. Why am I pulling everything out of the engine bay? Well, first I got to weld that on, obviously, but then I'm going to have to repaint it all because this is red and that's white. And you might notice the bumper is blue. Well, that's actually the color the rest of the car is going to be. So I'm going to strip the engine bay out, weld that piece on, obviously not the whole piece, but most of it. And then I'm going to be repainting the entire engine bay to that color of blue. And with the engine bay being that color, the rest of the car is going to follow suit. So after I finish stripping out the engine bay and painting that, I'm going to be moving on to the rest of the car and then color changing the entire car to the innocent blue mica color of the front bumper, as well as installing the rest of my body kit, which is going to pain me greatly as I have to cut the rear arches off of my quarter panels. But hey, we make sacrifices for what we love, right? And then while I'm painting it, seeing as this windshield has seen better days, the seal is not exactly super pliable anymore. Also in the rear, it's always held water back here. It would always leak out as I open the hatch after I washed it, plus this piece is falling off, a bunch of dirt underneath it. And I don't want to half-ass the paint job, so I'm going to be stripping out all the windows in the car so that I can get below the seams. Also make sure there's no rust while I'm at it because, you know, we've seen that in the past. So this is going to be a much bigger job than I would like it to be, but when I'm done, this car should be in nice mint condition, all 99 spec blue, and it's going to look great. So I'm going to put you on time lapse while I strip the front end and drop the drivetrain, and then I'll get back to you with the next step. By the way, these tires and wheels will not be going back on the car, so if anybody wants some Advan RG1s with some tires, let me know. Alright, now I got it off the ground pretty much as high as I possibly could. Reason I got it so high off the ground instead of just doing enough to get it off the wheels, because what I'm gonna try to do next is to drop the suspension rear and fronts. Probably got to take off the shocks in order to make this work, but I'm trying to drop the engine and the differential, transmission, everything all as one unit. If you don't know about RX7s and most rear-wheel drive Mazdas, they connect the transmission to the differential using something called a power plant frame. I think that's what they call it. So it's all just sort of rigidly connected to each other. So as long as I can clear the front of the car and get the rear suspension underneath the body, I should be able to just roll it all out on some of these things and just park it in the front driveway or just in the driveway. until I'm ready to slap it all back in. Don't forget to disconnect your battery before you start unplugging wiring connections, especially from the ECU. Don't worry about me removing these lines. I never had AC hooked up. It was just kind of in place. And now it's not. What is happening? There we go. These in order to pull this out, in order to pull this out of the way, so let's do that. I was wondering, I'm not too worried about breaking these if that happens because I don't have ABS anymore anyway. That works pretty good. And on to the next side. honestly, a lot of what I'm doing right now is just tedious little disconnecting things here and there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that off camera, and I'm gonna catch back with you guys whenever I'm all finished with that. Alright, well, I said that was gonna be tedious, and surprise surprise, it was tedious. But I got the whole cooling system out there, I got the AC evaporator out, all the power steering lines are loose, power steering column, U-joint, whatever that's called, is disconnected. All the vacuum lines that go to the frame are disconnected. Got the ignition system all out of there. Over here in the ground, got the oil coolers off. Got the intercooler out, fans, everything like that. So the engine itself is ready to drop out of the car as far as I can tell, unless I missed something, in which case we'll find out when we get to that point. But now I got to go underneath the car, disconnect all the frame braces, because I got one right there, one in the back for the differential. I'm going to disconnect the exhaust from that connection on because it's going to connect to the frame up there, and I don't want that piece dragging on the ground when I pull it all out of here. And I got to get inside the car and disconnect the shifter, otherwise that's going to get in the way too. But once I'm done with that, all I got to do is come back here, disconnect the suspension from the car. Luckily all it is for this side is just the coilovers. Everything else is bolted up to the subframe, and I should be able to just drop the subframe. And I don't think much is connected to that besides like the wheel speed sensors, stuff like that. So let me go ahead and get you guys back on my head and we'll start disconnecting stuff. I guess I hit something with this bolt at some point in time. Ah man, I forgot these things are held on by little 10 millimeters all around, and I can't really get, well, I can get to this side actually, but there's more stuff in the way because of the way that this piece installs. So I'll move these now and then we can get to those. But luckily, I thought I was going to undo all this stuff, but I forgot I put a little connector right here. There we go. And now all of this will drop with the engine and transmission. To these, and actually if I'm dropping the whole subframe, this will come with it and all this will come with it. I just need to disconnect these and then just leave it all hanging because it'll all come down together. That makes things easier. So it looks like the rear brakes go into this little line right here, which connects it to this, what I'm assuming is some kind of proportioning valve, if not just a regular splitter. And then it connects here. So it's all connected to the subframe. So I guess I'm going to disconnect this piece, this whole fitting, and that I'm pretty sure is just attached to the frame, not the subframe. So I'll remove that and drop it all separate from that. What else? Obviously the wheel speed sensor. Actually no, that's the, hold on. Okay, no, that's the brake line. That's the e-brake cable, which goes up here. Alright, I think my best bet for this is going to be to disconnect the e-brake cable from the bracket right here, and then wherever else it's bolted to the subframe, because it's going to be a much bigger pain to have to get inside the car and pull the carpet up to disconnect it from the handle and everything. So do that. Otherwise, I think we're good. Of course, it's suspension, but you know. Right inside the car, pop this off. If I remember correctly, this should all just come up. And then disconnect these clips. Come on. There we go. I gotta go get my 10mm socket again. Actually, I don't think I even need to do anything else down here. Nothing else is connected to the actual frame of the car, so I'll just drop it all straight down and it shouldn't interfere with anything. Sweet, less work. Just make this done. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, the GoPro battery died and I didn't want to wait for it, so I just kept moving along. You really didn't miss much of anything though. All I did was finish disconnecting some stuff that needed to be disconnected from the rear end. And that's started to drop down now. Now I'm going to go up front and get a jack on the front end, set up the wheel dollies, and see if we can't just drop this thing out of the car now. Trusting that, to be honest. Let's see. You know, yeah, let's rethink this. There we go. Okay. All I gotta do is figure out how to get on top of this. Pretty sure I'm not hung up on anything. Just double checking though. Oh yeah, I am actually. Forgot about these. Alright, after much pain and anguish, my oil pressure and temperature sensors have been disconnected. So now I think everything should be disconnected. Fingers crossed. Just double check. Good here. That's good. Steering linkage is disconnected. I think I'm good. Just double check over here. This piece. It's all not connected. Alright. Oh crap. There we go. This out of the way. Stop it. Alright. I think that's probably not gonna clear, but I can probably just lift up the chassis a bit more as I wheel it out. Let me go drop the rear end down. fairly certain all this is gonna clear. Just gotta, as I'm wheeling forward, I gotta lift up the back end to move the jack stands out of the way, push it forward, and then you know, replace them. Do the same for the front. But this is looking pretty promising so far. Maybe a little tight right there, but we'll see what happens. Alright, I don't really want to go into specifics of exactly how I did this, but let's just say it was pretty sketchy. Alright, and as you can see, it's a bit later now. I kind of got distracted helping a friend out with his Civic wagon. But I've gotten it to a pretty good stopping point for the day. Tomorrow I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to be stripping out the rest of the engine bay. And once I'm done getting this thing all cleared out, I'm going to get started on paint work in the engine bay. Once I get the engine bay knocked out, I'll move on to the back of the car. But if you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can catch the next video in the series. And I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.